Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to talk to you about NFA firearms and how to register a firearm. It's a very simple process, but there are a couple of paths you can follow, and you need to make sure that you have all the paperwork and everything else that you'll need to make the submission in hand before you get started. Now, there are different forms that you can use to either manufacture a firearm, like this SBR that I have sitting in front of me, and this is a Chris carbine. And I actually filed a Form 1 on this rifle to shorten the barrel, and then I filed a Form 4 on the suppressor, which I purchased from a dealer, to transfer the suppressor to my ownership. So the Form 1 you would use to actually manufacture a short-barreled rifle, and a Form 4 you would use to transfer a short-barreled rifle that somebody else has already manufactured, or a machine gun, or a suppressor, to your ownership. And that can come from another individual, or it can come from a dealer. Now, you cannot legally manufacture machine guns anymore after 1986 and Ronald Reagan. You can no longer manufacture new machine guns. So anything that you manufacture will have to be something like a short-barreled rifle. It's not going to be a machine gun. So there's two different forms that you can actually request from the ATF, the Form 1 and the Form 4. And I also want to step you through the process and how to complete those forms and how to submit those to the ATF so you can get them back in a timely fashion. Now, there are a couple of different paths that you can follow. Now, I submit my forms as an individual, but you can also do so as a trust. A trust has many benefits to doing it. First of all, the trust paperwork usually comes back more quickly. 4 months is the average for an individual submitting paperwork to transfer or manufacture a firearm to their possession. A trust can usually half that. You can get it back in just a few weeks, a couple of months instead of 4 months. Also, if you're having problems with the local law enforcement authorities signing off on your paperwork, giving you, in essence, permission to own that firearm in their town, which technically they're not giving you permission, they're just saying that they know you to be of sound mind and character and they have no reason to prevent you from doing it. If you're having problems getting that signature, you can also go about doing it as a trust because it does away with the requirement for the law enforcement signature. Also, anybody that's name is on that trust, they can be in possession of those firearms. And if I should pass away as a trustee, anybody else in the trust, it can pass seamlessly to the other trust holders or people in the trust without going through paperwork with the ATF. So there are benefits to doing it. However, I don't do that. I submit my paperwork as an individual. And again, it usually takes about 4 months. So first of all, you'll either need to download from the ATF's website the forms that you'll need, or you'll need to request that the ATF mail those to you. And I'll show you both ways of going about this in this video. Now, first of all, you will need fingerprint cards that your local police office might not actually have, and those are reference cards. They're blue ink cards used for reference. They're not criminal cards. The red ink cards are what most cop shops have, and those won't do. If you submit the red criminal cards to the ATF, they won't accept them. You will need the blue FBI reference cards. Now, the ATF will send these to you for free along with the forms, the Form 1 and the Form 4, and the 5330.20, which is the citizenship form. They'll send you all that stuff for free if you go to their website and request that they send it to you. From the time that you click the submit button until that stuff arrives in your mailbox, it's usually just a couple of weeks. Now, if your police station does actually have the reference cards, you can go down and get your fingerprints taken and have those fingerprints taken on that reference card. Then all you're going to need to do is download from the ATF website the forms that you're going to need to submit to the ATF to transfer the ownership or to manufacture an NFA item yourself. Now, first of all, let's start off by showing you where you can go on the web and how you can request the ATF send you the fingerprint cards and your forms. Let's take a look at that first. This is the ATF page where you can order and have delivered to your house via the mail service the forms, like a Form 1 or a Form 4, or your fingerprint cards. Not all law enforcement authorities will have reference cards. They'll have the red criminal cards. You'll need the blue reference cards. If they don't have them, you'll have to order them from the ATF. It is free. Now, if you're going to order the fingerprint cards, you can also order the Form 1 or the Form 4. Or, alternatively, you can download them, and I'll show you how to do that in this video. Now, I'm just going to show you how to select the fingerprint cards. When you come to this page over here on the right-hand side, you'll see a blue area that you can scroll through. At the very bottom, you'll see I have highlighted fingerprint cards. Check this box, the very last one. Check that bubble. Come up here to the drop-down in the yellow area. Make sure you have Order Item 1 selected, and click Add. Now, if you look over here to the left under Order Item Boxes, it has added that item to that field. If you want to select another item like a Form 1, you will scroll up over here in the blue. F1 is Form 1. You will select it, From the drop-down, you will select order item number 2 and click Add, and you'll see it appear over here. You will also need to identify the quantity. How many of these do you wish to have? Again, it is free, so order as many as you think you may need. And also remember, the forms need to be submitted in duplicate, so you'll need at least 2 of any one form to have enough. I'm going to order 6 fingerprint cards. You'll need duplicates of the fingerprint cards as well, so 6 cards would allow you to submit 3 forms, either Form 1 or Form 4s. After you've selected the quantity, now you need to enter your name, your email address, the phone number where you may be reached, and then your mailing address. Scroll to the bottom and click Submit. After you click Submit, usually in a week or 2, these forms will be delivered to your house or wherever you had them mailed to. It doesn't take the ATF very long, and again, it is free. Okay, so that's how you can request that the ATF send you a Form 1, a Form 4, the fingerprint cards, or even the 5330.20 citizenship certification. That's how you can request that the ATF mail that stuff to you at your house. Now you can also, if your police department has those reference fingerprint cards, you can also just download these forms from the ATF site. Let me show you how you can do that. To begin, you will need to go to the ATF's website to download the forms. You can find the ATF's website at www.atf.gov/forms/firearms. That will bring you to this page. Now you'll find the Form 1, the Form 4, and the 5330.20 form on this page. Let's look for the Form 1. The Form 1 is right here, about midway down the page. I've just highlighted it. Just below that is the Form 4. Now these are PDF files, and you will need to download a free PDF viewer, which you can download for free from adobe.com. On the very bottom of the page, second to last, is the citizenship form, the 5330.20. You will need to download this 5330.20 by clicking on this link, and you will also need to download, for the purposes of this demonstration, the Form 1, the 5320.1. Click on the link and it will begin your download. Now that you have the forms in your possession, you're going to need to fill out those forms. Now, I'm going to talk about how to submit the paperwork to manufacture an SBR. It's the most common thing that people do, and it's the most cost-effective. Purchasing a machine gun can be very expensive. M16s are running anywhere from $11,000 to $15,000. Uzis are in the $6,000 to $8,000 range. Machine guns have just gotten outrageously expensive because they were actually banned in 1986. You cannot manufacture a new machine gun after 1986 for individuals to own. Only law enforcement and the military can own newly manufactured machine guns. Anything manufactured after 1986. So anyway, let's take a look at how you complete the form. Let's do a Form 1. The Form 4 is very similar as the Form 4 is very similar to a Form 1. So a lot of the content is the same, but it's self-explanatory. Once I show you how to complete a Form 1, it's very similar in completing a Form 4. Let's take a look at how that's done. Now we're looking at a completed Form 1, and I will walk you through each of the areas that you need to complete before submitting this to the ATF. Over here under 2, you will check Individual. You can leave Trade Name blank. Over here under 1, you will check box A. You are paying a $200 tax. You will need to include a check with the submission of this form to the ATF. Under 3B, you will enter your name and mailing address. If you have a P.O. box under 3C, you will have to give an actual address in this area. I've left blank. For 3D, this is the county in which you reside. Type in your county name. Under 3E, you will enter a phone number where the ATF may reach you if they have questions. Under 4A, this is where you put the manufacturer's name of the firearm that you're converting to an SBR. This should be stamped on the receiver of the firearm. Type exactly what you see on the firearm in this box. Under 4B, you need to identify what type of firearm is being manufactured. In this case, an SBR, or a short-barreled rifle. You can type it out or you can use the acronym. Under C, you need to identify the caliber of the firearm. Under D, you need to identify the model of the firearm. In this case, an AR-15. You also, under E, need to identify the barrel length. How long do you intend for the barrel to be after you've converted it to an SBR? It doesn't have to be an exact measurement, but it should be close. And the same for the overall length. The overall length is from the buttstock, the end of the buttstock, all the way to the tip of the barrel. In letter G, you will enter the serial number of the firearm. This is the serial number that is already on the firearm that was placed there, in this case, by Colt Firearms. This is the standard manufacturer's serial number. Go ahead and put that in G. In box I, you can leave H empty. In box I, you need to tell the ATF why you intend to make this firearm. I've seen some pretty crazy stuff get approved, things like preparing for the zombie apocalypse, but I recommend you don't put something like that in there. Most people just put personal collection. In J, you need to check if this firearm is being reactivated. Chances are it's not. You're not reactivating a deactivated firearm, so most often you will just put no. Now everything else you can leave blank. Here on line 7, you will need to sign this document. This is very important. It will be sent back to you if you forget to sign it. Sign the document on line 7, and then over here on 9, be sure you put today's date. Scroll down to the second page, leave all this above blank. Scroll down to the second page in section 10. You need to check no to all of these. Don't lie, but hopefully you check no to all of these. If you check yes to any of them, it's just like a 4473 form. If you check yes to any of these on this form, you will be denied. So read these and check all that apply, and that goes for box 11 as well. That's it. Now all you need to do is, like I said, be sure to sign this, and also right here where I've highlighted, be sure to affix your passport photo, the 2x2 photo that you had taken at Walgreens. This area that I'm showing you now that I've highlighted, I guess I can't highlight, but right in here where the cursor is, this is where your law enforcement authority needs to sign the document. You need to take it to your local law enforcement official and have them sign there. Then that's it. The rest of it's just instructions. You print this document, sign it, make sure your photograph is affixed, and you're ready to go. This is the 5330.20 form. This is certifying that you are a United States citizen. You're going to certify yourself. On line 1, you will put your last name, your first name, and your middle initial. On the second line, you will again put your last name, first name, middle initial, because you're certifying yourself. On line 3, you will put the country in which you reside. Now 4 through 7 you can skip, assuming you're not a non-immigrant alien or something like that. You have to be in the country legally, and I'm assuming that you're a U.S. citizen. You can skip all the rest of these to line 7. Here you will sign right here where the cursor is. I can't sign it in the PDF form. And you will date it. You will do this after you print this form out. That's all that's required. Okay, now that we have our Form 1 completed, or Form 4 if that's what you've chosen to fill out, now that we have our Form 1 completed, we need to put everything into a package and send it to the BATF. There's a few things that you're going to need. Okay, you're going to need your Form 1, your 5320, or I'm sorry, your 5330.20, which is your citizenship form. You're going to need your fingerprint cards. You're going to need passport photographs, and you're going to need a $200 check for each item that you're registering. Now, once you've completed the Form 1 or the Form 4, as an individual, you're going to have to take that down to your local law enforcement official, usually it's your chief of police, and have him sign that document. You also need to sign the document and date it. You must have both their signature and your signature and the date. If you don't complete the form completely, it will get kicked back to you, and all that means is it's just going to take a little bit longer for you to get your approved paperwork back. Now you will take your Form 1 or your Form 4, and it has to be in duplicate, so you're going to need 2 copies of the Form 1 and 2 copies, or the 2 copies of the Form 4. You will also need 2 fingerprint cards. You will attach, I usually just staple them together. I take my Form 1, the 2 copies of the Form 1, my 2 fingerprint cards, and my $200 check, and I staple that together, okay? And you will also need to make sure that you have your passport photos. You'll need 2, 1 on each form that you're submitting, the Form 1 or the Form 4. I use rubber cement or double-sided sticky tape, and I affix my pictures, my passport photos, to those documents, and it tells you exactly where to do that on the document itself. You bundle all of that up, including your 5330.20 citizenship form, which I showed you how to complete. You bundle all that up, put it into an envelope, and mail that to the BATF to the address that's actually on the Form 1. You'll wait a few months. When it comes back, you can then manufacture your firearm, or you can send it off to a gunsmith and have them manufacture it by putting another barrel on it or cutting the barrel that you have. Now, if you guys have any questions about this process, swing by our discussion board. You can find us there at www.militaryarmschannel.com. Swing by if you have a question, post in the general discussion forum and say, hey, I saw the video, I have a question, how do I do this? And either myself or one of the other forum members will get back to you and help you complete the form. It's a very simple thing to do, and the first time you do it, it may seem a little bit daunting, but after you do it the first time, it'll be easy to do the second, third, fourth, fifth time. I find myself doing this paperwork several times a year. It's very simple, and it's very gratifying once you get the form back and you have your firearm that you've manufactured or that you've transferred to your possession. You're very happy to have it. Believe me, I love my NFA firearms. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll talk to you guys soon.